All right, if you were born somewhere between 1965 and 1980, this one's for you. You're part of Generation X, and you are facing a really unique and, let's be honest, kind of daunting retirement challenge. Today, we're going to dig into the Gen X retirement squeeze, what it is, why it happened, and most importantly, what you can do about it. So let's just get right to it. If you're in your late 40s, your 50s, take a really honest look at where you stand. Are you truly on track for retirement? For so many people in Gen X, the answer to that question is way more complicated and, frankly, a lot more stressful than it ought to be. And this is the number that is keeping a whole lot of people up at night. A recent survey from the asset management company Schroders found that the average retirement shortfall for someone in Gen X is over $400,000. Wow. That is not a gap, my friends. That is a chasm between a retirement you've dreamed of and the reality you're facing. So you have to be asking, how in the world did we get to such a massive number? Let's actually break down the math here so we can all understand the real scale of this thing. Okay, so the numbers on this table, they really tell the story. Gen Xers feel like they're going to need about $1.1 million for a retirement where they feel comfortable. But, at the pace they're going, they're on track for just over $700,000. And there it is. That's that $400,000 chasm we just mentioned, staring right back at us. Now, it's so easy to look at a number like that and think it's all about individual choices, right? Like, I should have saved more. But the real story is so much bigger. This isn't just about personal failings. It's the story of a whole generation that got caught right in the middle of a massive change to the entire American retirement system. And this, right here, shows that shift perfectly. For our parents' generation, retirement usually meant a pension. That was a promise from your employer for a guaranteed income for life, all managed by the company. But Gen X, you walked into a brand new world, the 401k, and that system put all of the responsibility and all of the risk squarely on your shoulders. This timeline really puts it all into perspective. A lot of boomers, they had those stable pension plans. And millennials, they're coming into a workforce where modern 401ks have all these helpful automatic features built right in. But Gen X, you guys were caught right in the messy middle, basically the guinea pigs for an early 401k system that was still full of problems. And what's so critical to understand is that those early 401ks were missing these key features that we just take for granted today. Features that are designed to basically automate saving and make it effortless. First up is the absolute game changer, auto-enrollment. Today, most companies just sign you up automatically. You have to actively choose not to save. But for Gen X, it was the total opposite. You had to hunt down the paperwork, fill it all out, and make an active choice to save. And that one little hurdle, it meant tons of people never even got started, and they lost out on years of compounding growth. And the second missing piece was something called auto-escalation. This feature just automatically bumps up your savings rate a tiny bit each year, usually by 1%. It's such a painless way to grow what you're putting away over time without ever really feeling the pinch. It basically puts your savings growth on autopilot. So you see, without these simple automatic nudges, the entire burden of saving for retirement fell on you. You had to remember to sign up, you had to remember to manually increase your contributions every year, you had to manage all the investments, all while juggling a career, a mortgage, maybe raising kids. It's no wonder so many people fell behind. Okay, so that's the diagnosis of the problem. But this is not about doom and gloom, not at all. It's about understanding what happened so you can empower your future. Because with retirement getting closer, there are still some incredibly powerful moves you can make right now to start closing that gap. And hey, you don't have to just take my word for it. As Investopedia points out, even with less time on the clock, there are smart, effective strategies that can seriously boost your retirement outlook. The game is absolutely not over. We're going to focus on 3 huge levers you can pull right now. First, getting the absolute most out of Social Security. Second, supercharging your savings contributions. And third, maybe rethinking what the end of your career really looks like. Let's start with Social Security. Sure, you can claim it as early as 62, but if you do, your benefit is permanently cut. If you can just wait until your full retirement age, that's around 67 for most people, you get your full benefit. But here's the magic trick. For every single year you delay past that, all the way up to age 70, your benefit grows by a guaranteed 8%. That is a risk-free return you literally cannot find anywhere else. All right, next up, savings.
The system actually has this cool built-in advantage for people who feel like they're behind. It's called a catch-up contribution, and it was designed specifically for people age 50 and over, so you can accelerate your savings during your peak earning years. Let's look at the 401k numbers for 2026. The standard contribution limit is $24,500. But if you're 50 or older, you can tack on an extra $7,500 to that. I mean, maxing that out, even for just a few years, can make a monumental difference.
And the exact same idea applies to your IRA, your individual retirement account. On top of the $7,500 limit for 2026, you can add another $1,000 catch-up contribution. Remember, every single dollar you can sock away right now is helping you close that gap. Now, that third strategy is to just rethink the finish line. And look, this doesn't have to mean grinding it out in some high-stress job until you're 70. Not at all. It could mean shifting to a more sustainable, maybe even more enjoyable role in your early 60s. That gives your investments more time to grow, and it shortens the number of years your savings will need to last. So, as we pull all of this together, the message starts to become really clear. Yeah, the challenges you're facing are real, and they're rooted in a huge systemic shift. But the path forward? That is very much within your control. Look, here's the bottom line. Yes, you were caught in a tough spot, no doubt about it. But you also have your peak earning years ahead of you, and these powerful tools like catch-up contributions on your side. The moves you decide to make right now can fundamentally change your entire retirement picture. We've covered the problem, and we've covered some powerful solutions. So the only question left is, what are you going to do? What is the very first small, tangible step you will take this week to take back control of your financial future?